SwoleBenji here. Today we have a corrupted dungeon build guide. This one is the regular bow. So let's get right into it. Okay, you absolutely need or should have a tier 6 flat bow. The reason why is for the attack speed passive. Out of all of the passives on your bow, this one dramatically increases your DPS over everything else and your clear time. So absolutely get a tier 6 bow. They're really cheap. It's very easy to buy. For your abilities, I like to use the armor piercing Q. You don't have to, you can use the knockback Q. If you are invaded, and again, this is a ratting guide, if you are invaded, switch to the knockback Q. Don't use the armor piercing one. For your W ability, use exploding arrow, alright? Now, exploding arrow will dramatically increase your clear speed. If you are invaded, use frost shot so you can zip away. For your E, just cast your E with your W and spams just a few Qs before you start stacking up. And if you can help it, don't use all of your E stacks. Like if you get down to 2 shots remaining, save that sucker and then wait for your E's cooldown to refresh. Then cast E as you're auto attacking so that you keep your attack speed buff. Alright, you'll get used to it as you play. I'm not going to really go much more into it. For armor, I highly recommend the cleric robe. Yes, the mage robe does do more damage, but the cleric robe lets you shoot uninterrupted. Okay, I didn't have it for this boss fight, but if I did, I could stand there and tank everything he throws at me for like 2 to 3 seconds. I'll do way more damage with that buff up, and I'll be rapid fire shooting arrows for high amounts of damage. For your helmet, you're going to be using the mage cowl, alright? The reason why is that your auto attacks, that's what you're using to clear the mobs, by the way. You can augment your auto attack with poison automatically, and if you're invaded, you can switch to force field, which is the current meta, which will knock back your opponent into traps or stall while you get away. For your boots, you will be using the Scholar Sandals. This will allow you to upkeep your mana. It also allows you to run through traps, not being slowed, not being rooted, and not being stunned. Because it regenerates your mana, it's a very good run speed ability. It's super cheap, and because it's a cloth shoe, it increases your damage more than any other type of equipment in the shoe slot. Now, for your cape, you can use Thetford Cape. Caerleon Cape isn't really necessary. You could also use a Bridgewatch Cape and shoot your opponent and run away while they're slowed. There's so many different capes you can generally use. I don't think I'm using a cape in this one actually at all. I'm pretty cheap. I don't really like to use capes. If I die with this build, it's one of the cheapest builds ever for corrupted dungeons, okay? And you clear pretty dang quick. It's very surprising. The reason why bow clears so quickly in corrupteds over regular solo dungeons is because the bow, you don't have a lot of targets. You have like 2 to 3 at a time maximum. Your W is blowing up the pack. There's not really a lot of 3 packs, you know, combined together. Because you're basically the master of solo single target DPS, right? It only takes a few shots to kill the bats or the dogs when you have your W and your E up. It's just an all-around really good build, and you can stand your ground and shoot. And if another player has no defensives, you automatically win an invasion. Though, like, the bow is crazy good for mobility as well. With Frost Shot, you basically have a disengage, alright? If you want to use the rooting W spell and you're good at shooting that, you can root another person in a trap and kill them that way. There's so many ways to play bow. It's one of the highest single target DPS Hunter and Stalker corrupted dungeon builds, alright? Now, I don't know about Slayer difficulty, alright? Slayer is kind of a mystery to me. I don't play Slayer difficulty yet, but I might in the future. But yeah, I'm not even using a cape in this video. Now, for the food, of course, you want to use the cabbage soup because you want to be able to regenerate health in between mobs. And as long as the player isn't like a Grail Seeker, they shouldn't be able to catch you at all if they do invade you. And if you do die with this build, it's one of the cheapest ever. There's no artifact items at all whatsoever. Like, tier 6 bow is incredibly cheap. Your armor, cleric robe is one of the cheapest ever. Scholar Sandals is the cheapest. And Mage Cowl is literally the cheapest helmet you can buy. So yeah, it's an extremely cheap build. It deletes mobs, it deletes bosses. It's very safe to play. And the only downside is when you're sitting here just rapid fire shooting the bosses, you know, you have to move and that'll interrupt your attack speed. But that's fine because just dump your whole stack into the boss, move out of the way, wait for your cooldowns, and there you go. If you really don't want to use Scholar Sandals, you could use a Limhurst Cape and leather boots so you can get your cooldowns faster. But you'll notice I use the boots to run over the fiery lines. Those lines are supposed to slow you. Anyway, that's the build, that's the video. I'm SwoleBenji, thanks for watching. As always, be a bro and stay swole. Make sure you like the video and leave a comment. That is a algorithm cheat code. And subscribe if you haven't. It's completely free. You can always unsubscribe later if you don't like my videos anymore. But I try to put out a video every day. Anyway, thanks, bye guys. I really appreciate you watching this video. Take care.